Right off
Hey,
the
mate.
bat, just tell us a little bit about your background and what you were like as a young fella.
As a young fella, I was a naughty kid. That's for sure. I got expelled from a couple of schools. As a kid growing up, I loved the game rugby league. Grew up playing it. The old man pretty much lived and breathed it down our throats, I guess. And I mean, we fell in love with the game. He's the harshest critic that I had, and also my biggest fan as well on most days as well. So growing up, we come from a family of there was 3 siblings. I have an older sister and a younger brother, all pretty tight. And we grew up in West Auckland, so pretty cool. It wasn't a bad neighborhood or anything like that. It was pretty good. Grew up, went to a Catholic primary school, St. Dominic's College, St. Dominic's Primary over in Blockhouse Bay.
Oh yeah.
And then from there, went to St. Peter's College. Did my intermediate there, and then most of my college was done there. And then had a stint, like I said, had a bit of a stint at Linfield as well. I think after sort of getting expelled from 2 schools, I kind of realized that school wasn't really for me, and I jumped straight into the workforce. So it was from there that obviously I met yourself, and I carried on working through, and here I am today.
Yeah, sweet, bro. Sounds like we had a pretty similar solid family. Everything's sweet, but just those I'm the same, bro. School for me was just a no-go, and but yeah, no, it's awesome, bro. It's awesome you're doing well. All right, so I want to ask, I've had my fair share of mental health struggles. I know you've been pretty vocal about your own struggles, and being very active in trying to spread awareness and pass those messages on. What I want to ask is, what role has training and physical activity, played, on that side of things? How has that helped you? And what kind of advice could you give someone that might be struggling with negative self-talk, their self-image? Do you want to touch on that a little bit, bro?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So what physical activity does is it gives you an outlet, and I guess that's the biggest part of the struggle, is finding an outlet that you can use in a positive way to benefit yourself. Some people love going for drives. Some people love listening to music really loudly. Some people love hanging out with friends and don't like being alone. With other people like myself, I like a bit of a challenge, something that sort of distracts you from sort of everything that's going on everywhere else. And I found purpose with boxing, I guess. I didn't, I loved playing league. I really did. I enjoyed it for so many years, but for so many years you'd get injured, and then you were kind of yesterday's news. And I really felt that towards the end of my league career. And that was an outlet that I didn't see as positive anymore. So I had to adapt. I was lucky enough in the last year playing footy that I met Isaac Peach. He happened to want to come out of retirement and play one more year of league. And I was just lucky enough to meet him, run into him, and we got on like a house on fire, man. I think it all kind of started. I've been pretty vocal about this part as well. We actually were out playing Mangere East one time out there, and there was a big punch up that sort of started, and he was like, "Mate, my back," and then he said that I could throw. So it was quite good to sort of have that option there. And he's taken me under his wing, and I'm really grateful for everything he's done for me. But it has given me purpose. It's something that I wake up every day for. There's going to be days where you don't want to go to the gym, or you don't want to go to training, and you don't want to do this. But then that purpose that you have there to be the best, it drives you. And I really believe that. I mean, I look at only a few weeks ago, man, I'm fighting on the world stage. you know, and that's something that, you know, obviously didn't turn out to the way that I'd expected. But, you know, like to get there was a huge achievement for myself. You know, just touching back on as a child, I was always the fat kid. I was always the chubby kid that a lot of people wrote off. And I got to where I was just hard work, really, and determination. And like I said, finding that outlet that was driving me. So I guess, yeah, it's the whole thing about life and coping with depression is obviously finding an outlet and using it to the best of your advantage and using it for positivity.
Yeah, well, that's exactly the thing, bro. Like, it's one of those things you don't actually realize, you know, you find passions through trying. And when you're going through those tough times, for me, I'm the same, bro. Like, I can relate to a lot of things you're saying. You know, the league background, you know, at the time it's all gravy and it's awesome, but you know, injuries happen, and the things that funnel down, a downstream effect from those injuries, it's massive, bro, and it's common. And yeah, like for me, like just like yourself, you know, finding boxing, I found you know, that my passion lied within helping people, the same way that being active and training helped me. So yeah, awesome to hear that.
Well, that's good, man. I remember, you know, obviously working with yourself, and I mean, you had obviously the ACL injury. Like I won't forget that, man. And I think what a lot of people don't realize is that some of these injuries, like when they happen, there's such a big setback that you have to like adjust to, and it affects everyday life. I mean, you know, my social life was ruined because of it. And I mean, you find copious ways to, you find different ways to cope with these things. And I mean, I can say now, man, I've been open and honest about my struggle with painkillers, my addiction with them. And they don't help any situation that you're in. And then obviously you've got alcohol as well. And I mean, it's just so easily accessible. And yeah, without having, like I said, having that purpose, you know, it's very easy to go out every night or, you know, every weekend and sort of drown your sorrows a bit. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't realize that these injuries can obviously not only just, you know, stop you from playing a sport, but it also affects everything. I mean, you know, failing relationships, things like that.
100%. Yeah, nail on the head there, bro. Yeah, we'll move on. When I first met you, like you said, we're at Rebel. I was working, or if you could call what I was doing, working, helping out in the storeroom. You know, I could just tell that you wanted more, or you know, you weren't content with stacking shelves and cleaning shoes and dealing with customers and that. What kind of challenges did you face when you were trying to figure out, you know, where do I go from here? You know, what do I really want to be doing? Have you answered that question, or is it something you're still trying to figure out?
It's a good question. I think when I hit rock bottom was kind of when I knew that I had to get my A into G. I had a very difficult conversation with my old man. I'd had one of the best years of my league career, and I got offered to go play over in France. And like I said about my painkiller addiction, I got injured again, and I took a cortisone shot to sort of try and get that injury out of the way for a little bit and just go over and play. And when it didn't work, that was when, you know, I made a couple of silly decisions around that, and I failed miserably a drug test that put a big black mark against my name. And that was really hard. I remember the conversation with my old man, and I burst into tears, man. I don't think there was a dry eye between the two of us. You know, something that, you know, it was a dream, you know, to be able to do that was a huge dream. And then I guess, you know, like I said, I found my outlet with boxing, and I guess the goal was to try and become a professional boxer and be a professional athlete, which was something that I'd always wanted to be. And then I remember making my pro debut, and once again, there wasn't a dry eye at that table between me and my old man. But yeah, it was a conversation that we had, and he knew that I was going downhill, and he knew that you know, a couple more weeks of this, or a couple of days even, like, you know, I wouldn't be here. So yeah, that was probably the big turning point. And then it was just really lucky that very shortly after I met Isaac Beach, man. So yeah, it's I'm a firm believer in a lot of things happen for a reason, and but I'm also a believer that, you know, you've got to go out and get what you want. So yeah, that meeting Isaac was a blessing in disguise, man.
Right, so I know you've got a really strong team around you. Speaking specifically about the guys at Peach Boxing, or guys and girls.
Yep.
You know, personally, I've followed very closely the careers, you know, Andre Mikhailovich, Jerome Pampaloni, Miyamoto, David,
Yep.
Yourself, you know, and I know that team is similar to what CKB have been able to do. Like, just a really tight. I see them as a really tight knit unit. I just want to ask, what kind of impact have they had, not only on your mental health, not only just in the training sense, but as having that unit, that team, and that second family of sorts? How has that helped you?
Okay, good question. Isaac has really set the culture there. Isaac, Boaz, Alina, who's Isaac's wife, they've pretty much set the standard from the get-go. No one's bigger than anyone in that gym. And we really feel that. Like, I mean, you know, someone who comes here for like 2 minutes, and then you've got David Light, who's world ranked. And
you can see that. You can definitely see it.
But like, the good thing about someone like David Light is he's a leader. He's a natural leader. He pulls people aside and he goes, hey, look, man, try this, try that. Andre Mikhailovich is exactly the same, especially with the youngsters. Pulls them aside, and, you know, all these kids, they look up to us. And it's fantastic, you know, to be able to make these guys proud. Jerome Pampalone, he's a future world champ, man, by a long shot. And you've got Miyamoto, like, she's come back from the, you know, she had a very, very good amateur background and gave boxing away for a little bit. She's come back and her and Erin Walsh as well have set the tone for women's boxing here in New Zealand. And a lot of these girls are looking up to them. I know that they all follow each other and everything like that too. So they are very, very good role models to have. The fact that, you know, these guys, they're, like I said, good role models. They don't drink and drive. They don't do drugs. They don't. We pretty much don't even drink at the gym, you know. And we set that standard for the kids to sort of be like, hey, look, this is how it's. This is what we're like, and if you like this, you can get here. Once again, Isaac created that culture. Isaac gave up drinking, and he's very vocal about how he doesn't like to be around alcohol and stuff now. And it's like, he sets the standard, man. And like I said, no one's bigger than anyone. It is a very family orientated environment. When Isaac puts shows on, everyone's fighting. Everyone has the same responsibilities as everyone else. Go sell your tickets, get your, you know, bring people in to come and support the sport of boxing. And I mean, I have friends that come to our events, and if I'm not even fighting, like, they'll sit down and watch events. So it's about getting that message out there. And something that Isaac really does well for the community is he's all about boxing. He's not just about peach boxing, but he's promoting boxing in New Zealand as well. So it's really good to have these role models around. And I mean, I'm only a new professional myself, so looking at guys like David Light and Andre Mikhailovich, even Mia and Jerome, like, Jerome is so far in advance, you know, he's only had 3 pro fights, and it's hard to believe he's so professional in his approach, and in his training as well.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you can tell you guys got a tight unit. The culture, definitely, just watching from afar, leading by example. You can definitely see that no one's bigger than the other person, and like, you see someone like Andre who's coming out here singing on his way to the ring, but you know that he's done the work, you know, he's got his head on right, and it's just awesome to see. And I'm so happy for New Zealand boxing as a whole, because you guys got some beasts coming through, man, and I'm so excited.
And it's cool, man. Like, everyone's got a story too, and the Andre Mikhailovich story is a fantastic one, man. A guy who's an adopted kid out of Russia, man. Like, and he's come over here and he's taken New Zealand by storm, and he's really dominating over here, man. He's a good kid, and he's awesome, man.
Yeah, he's actually fighting my boy Shay. So shout out Shay.
Shay Brock. Yeah. That's gonna be a good fight. That's gonna be a great fight.
All right, so I know everyone who supports you and follows you was pretty gutted about the result, how the David Naika fight went. I just want to, if you could touch on kind of how you felt, you know, making that walk, Sky Sport, all the lights, you know, everything going on. Yeah, you know, like you're here, you're a pro. How did you feel making that walk, knowing what you've been through and what it took to get there? And also, how did you deal with, you know, the feelings, moments, and, you know, hours after the fight where you know, we all know, you know, how did you deal with that? So making the walk, reflecting on the journey, and afterwards with the disappointment, because no doubt, you know.
Well, like I said earlier, the conversation I had with my old man was one that saved my life. So I owed it to him. Being on the big stage like that, I actually walked out to his favorite song, which was "The Game" by Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah,
it was awesome. Like walking out, scary, man, but it was cool. Enjoyed it. Like really embraced it. It was really cool. Just as I was getting into the ring, the chorus hit. And I could hear people singing in the crowd, which was awesome.
I know you're you know, we talk a few times about the old WWE and the big entrances and the belts.
Yeah.
Here I am, man, hearing you coming out doing the old Batista, or I don't know, doing something silly, but you just walked out stone cold. I knew you were ready to go. You couldn't tell what was going on in your head, you know.
It was like, this is it, man. Like, you know, this is what dreams are made of. This is what you work hard for, and this is the big time. Like, this is, like, honestly, man, it was a dream come true. Walking out there was awesome, man. I got to the ground and it was, you know, like, I'm at the back of Victor Arena, like a Spark Arena it is now. I'm at the back, and I mean, like, you know, there's been people like, you know, I went and saw Jerry Seinfeld there. I've seen Chris Rock there. I've seen the Backstreet Boys. I've seen Ed Sheeran there. I've seen like all these guys that are famous, like Drake. I saw Drake there. So like these guys have probably all shared the same like walkout of where I've just done, and it's you know, like it's unreal, man. It was really cool. I had my own changing room. I had like, you know, it's everything that you see, like what you said in the WWE. You know, they do the backstage interviews and they see the names on the dressing rooms and stuff. It's exactly like it. It was cool. That was awesome. Like, you know, he took a while to get to the ring, so I really got a chance to sort of embrace the atmosphere and feel it. It was really cool. And then you had the fight, and I mean, like, it didn't go to plan. Let's put it that way. I mean, yeah. I
don't go into too much detail, bro. We all saw it. We know what's what. Let's more talk about the you know, how do you deal with it after? How much of an impact did that have in the old upstairs?
I spent a lot of it. I went backstage. I demanded to spend a little bit by myself. The first thing I did was I jumped on the phone and I called my dad. And he didn't actually pick up. It was pretty sad. But he called me back pretty soon after. We sort of discussed it, and he was very gutted. He was very gutted for me. Gutted about the thing. I still fronted the media. I had obligations that I had to fulfill. That was really hard. And at the end of the day, mate, hey, look, we got to remember that it's sport. And these things happen. So that was really reassuring of my dad. Not gonna lie, it hurt like hell, because it was just everything was just, it was done, you know. And you know, the two boys that wanted to go out there and put on a show, and it had potential to be fight of the night, and it didn't happen. It was hard. It was you know, I just wanted to leave the arena. I didn't didn't want to stay there. I wanted to go, but you know, like I said, I knew I had the obligations and I had to front up, and it took a lot to do it, but I still did all my post-match interviews. I still did everything and went up and congratulated David. He is a fantastic athlete.
100.
He's an awesome dude too. Like he's actually a really nice dude. And you know, I gave him credit where credit was due, man. He's, you know, he was quick. It didn't last very long, obviously, but in the short time that I was there, he was very, very fast and very, very skilled. So he's got a big future, that kid, and I'm just gutted that, you know, the crowd didn't get to see what we all wanted to do and put on. So
yeah, hey, well, he's not riding off that rematch, so we'll see. But
yeah, we'll see, man.
So I think the lesson kind of anyone can take, you know, is things in life can come and go, you know, and I think you know, you should be very proud of yourself, how you carried yourself. You know, I think a lot of people can take a lot of encouragement and inspiration from you. And speaking of this fight in particular, because, you know, you worked so hard, you put everything into it. I know you did. Did the whole thing, you know, but yeah, that's exactly the thing. You work as hard as you can. You put absolutely everything into it. It didn't go your way, but I think we can take a lot from how you kind of carried yourself and carried on, and we can see that you're, you know, what's next. You're not what's next, moving on. What's next?
Well, we're looking at hopefully May to fight again. So, you know, hey, look, you know, I showed like, obviously we had the lockdown. So I had about a week to sort of think about everything at home. It was a very long week. And all I wanted to do was, you know, see my teammates and see my coach and see around. I think Isaac called me pretty much every day, make sure I was all good. And then that Monday was probably the hardest to see everyone. Like it was, you know, talking about it, you know, going over it. So, but it's just business as usual now. You know, we're back into it, and you know, I still have dreams of holding a New Zealand title. You know, it took a little hiccup, but that's the thing, man. And that's boxing makes the, you know, the highest of highs really awesome, and it makes the lowest of lows, you know, make the highest of highs really even better. You know, so you know, you got to take the good with the bad, and you know, like I said, that sport, man. You know, like it's sport. At the end of the day, it's sport, and that's life. You know, you just got to deal. You got to deal with the hand that you've been dealt, and yeah, I've got an opportunity to redeem myself, hopefully in May.
Oh, sweet. Well, we'll be rooting for you, mate. Sweet. Okay, so we'll rattle off these quick fires. Okay, so
yeah, sweet, bro.
First thing that pops to mind, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, so you might have already answered this. Where's the Maniac in 5 years' time?
I think holding New Zealand title. I think defending it, hopefully. Yeah, I think, and if not, giving back to the community, mate. Paying it forward with what I've learnt, and hopefully working with Isaac and helping train these young kids up.
Beautiful, awesome. Okay, next one. I think I might know the answer to this one already, but for everyone watching, which one of your tattoos is the most meaningful, and why did you get it?
Meaningful. Well, it's probably this one here on my wrist. Can you see that? It says redemption.
Yep.
And that was just based on when I spent some time in a rehab facility, obviously with the painkillers. And I got this one put on my wrist to just remind myself like why I'm doing what I'm doing. There are times where it gets a bit tough. Whether it be at work, whether it be, you know, in everyday life, you know, you have situations that occur. And I look down on it and it gives me that little bit of, you know, extra, you know, hey, look, this is why you're here. This is why you're doing this. And it just kind of reminds you of how far you come. And yeah, so that one's, it's got a little diamond at the end of it. And that's, you know, that's the reward that you get, you know, once you do when you go through what you do, and then there's obviously light at the end of the tunnel. So beautiful. All
right, might be a tough one to answer. Best piece of advice you've ever received?
It's a good question. I'll tell you what, the best quote I've heard, and I strongly live by it, is it says, as those who say they can and those who say they can't are both usually right.
Yeah,
And Will Smith said that.
Oh, yeah.
So I love a bit of Will Smith, but it's true. I firmly believe it, man. If you're gonna go, like, it's like fighting. You know, you say that there's no way you can win. I mean, well,
you've already lost. Yeah.
Guess what's gonna happen? You know, you're gonna get thumped.
Yeah.
I think with boxing is a lot of, like, you know, self-belief. You know, you go in there and you go, hey, look, I'm gonna go kill this. You know, I'm gonna go kill whoever's in front of me.
Yeah. Not
literally, but, you know, I'm gonna go out there and smash him, smoke him. Like, it happens. You know, I'm gonna beat him. I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. This is what happens. You believe it, it happens.
Sort of like the old shoot. If you shoot for the moon and if you miss, at least you're still with the stars, sort of thing. One of those ones, eh?
There you go, bro. That's the one.
Cool. So, where do the Broncos finish on the ladder this season, and where is it in the bottom four?
Oh, mate, 16-0 up they were on the weekend. I'm hoping the top 8, but I mean the good signs are there in the first half, but they just can't score in the second half. And I think, I don't know, man, Kevy Walters needs to get them. But look, if I'm being honest, probably 10th, I'd say.
Yeah. Well, yeah, thank you for joining us, Jesse. I really appreciate you coming on. You know, I think this is a good way to start getting a bit, you know, we want to put the stories out there and give people something to relate to, inspire people where we can, you know, and I'm just grateful that you joined in. You felt comfortable to share your journey. We're all, you know, we're all supporting you. We're behind you. And we can't wait to see that strap go around your waist, okay?
Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. That's really nice.
Shout out your sponsors and all that. Anyone you want to kind of say?
Cool. Well, actually, there's a few. Jordan Earl Fitness has just jumped on board with me. He actually messaged me straight after the fight and said, "Hey man, I'm keen to help you get back to your best." He was a good mate of mine in high school, so shout out to Jordan. He's been fantastic. Prestige Groom Room, they do my hair, they do my beard, they make me look pretty sometimes. You know, it's a bit hard.
Your Cons from
South May Products. He does all my gear. My new t-shirts that are on sale. Link in bio. No.
We'll check a link.
Yeah. So so Cons has been fantastic, man. He helps me, like, you know, like I look good in the ring. I look the part. He's amazing. And then I got 3 Dice Tattoo and Snaggle. They do all my ink. They did me a good couple of tattoos before the fight and stuff. And then I've got Glow Biwi and I've got Good Herb Soda as well. So they're helping me nutrition wise and everything like that too. So and also like helping me relax with CBD oil infused drinks. They're pretty good.
Yep. Sweet as. All right. Sweet. Thanks, Jesse.
Appreciate it, mate. Thanks, bro.